When people see a swarm of winged termites flying around a window, many immediately think, these probably aren't termites. Not the small, pale termites that live underground, inside mud tubes, in hollow pieces of rotting wood, or hidden quietly behind a damp wall. Because in our minds, termites are creatures that crawl in the dark. Termites do not appear in winged swarms under the light. But in reality, those winged insects are still termites. More specifically, they are reproductive termites, a special form that only appears at a certain stage in the life of the colony. And the important thing is this: not every termite colony produces winged individuals. So why does a termite colony create winged termites? How are they born? And what causes creatures that normally live hidden in soil and wood to suddenly fly out all at once? Winged termites do not simply appear in a house by chance after a humid day. They are a sign that inside a termite colony, roles have already been divided very clearly. While worker termites continue living hidden in the soil, inside wood, or in sealed tunnels to search for food and care for the colony, another group is being developed for a completely different mission: to leave the old colony and open the possibility of starting a new one. This only happens when the colony has reached a stable enough stage. Only after the colony reaches a certain condition does it begin to prepare for a larger transition, one that we usually only see the surface of when winged individuals appear around windows, floors, or near sources of light. So before those winged termites ever emerge into view, what has been quietly happening inside the colony? Before the wings appear, inside a termite colony, nothing happens at random. For winged individuals to appear, the entire colony has to reach a stable enough stage, enough worker termites to find food, care for the young, and expand the tunnels, enough soldier termites to defend the colony, and a living system that has survived long enough to move beyond day-to-day survival and begin entering a stage of expansion. In some subterranean termite species studied in North America, a colony may need around 3 to 5 years to mature and begin producing winged reproductive individuals. This number is not a rule for every termite species, but it reveals something important. Winged termites are usually not the sign of something that has just begun. They are the sign of a process that has been unfolding quietly long before. While most of the colony continues working in the dark, some young individuals begin developing into reproductive termites. Their bodies change, and wings appear for one specific mission: to leave the colony. From a young termite to wings. A winged termite is not a worker termite crawling through wood that suddenly grows a pair of wings. It is also not born as a separate kind of termite from the very beginning. The queen does not simply lay different types of eggs: worker termite eggs, soldier termite eggs, or winged termite eggs. At first, they all begin as eggs, then hatch into soft, tiny young individuals that depend on the care of the entire colony. Inside the sealed, humid parts of the nest, worker termites clean the young, move them when needed, feed them, and protect them. But as they grow, not every young termite follows the same path. Some continue developing into worker termites, with soft, pale, wingless bodies suited for digging tunnels, finding food, and caring for the colony. Some may become soldiers, with bodies shaped for defense. And in a colony that has reached maturity, some young individuals may enter the reproductive path, the path that eventually produces winged termites. The interesting thing is that a young termite does not know it needs to grow wings, and the king or queen does not directly command, this one becomes a worker, that one becomes a soldier, and that one grows wings. The more accurate mechanism lies in pheromones, chemical signals passed between individuals in the colony, together with the living conditions inside the nest. These signals do not work like a simple command. Instead, they help regulate the developmental hormones inside the young termite's body. When population density, food supply, humidity, season, and the ratio of workers, soldiers, and reproductive termites change, the colony's chemical map changes as well. These signals gradually affect the developmental hormone system inside the young termite. And with each molt, its body is pushed more clearly in one direction, continuing as a worker, developing into a soldier, or entering the winged reproductive path. If it follows the winged reproductive path, it does not become a flying termite right away. First, it enters a stage as a young individual with wing buds. At this point, it is not yet a mature winged termite, but tiny wing buds have already begun to appear on its body. After the next molts, the wing buds grow longer. The eyes become more developed. The reproductive organs mature. The body often becomes larger and darker than that of a worker termite, and eventually, it becomes a winged reproductive termite, So a winged termite is the result of an entire developmental chain. Young termite cared for by workers, influenced by pheromones and nest conditions, molts multiple times, becomes a young individual with wing buds, and finally becomes a winged reproductive termite. In Formosan subterranean termites, research shows that after the final molt, the wings can expand and the body's outer layer can fully darken within about 48 hours. This number does not represent every termite species, but it shows that producing a winged termite is a real physical transformation. Not simply a worker termite with wings added on, but having a ready body is still not enough. If these individuals fly out at the wrong time, they can dry out, be eaten by predators, or fail to find a mate. So the next question is, what conditions cause the entire colony to release its winged individuals all at once? The moment the whole colony leaves the nest. Even when the winged individuals are ready, they still do not leave the nest immediately. Inside the dark, humid tunnels, they may wait a little longer, as if the entire colony is waiting for a door outside to open. But that door is not a physical exit. It is the weather. For many subterranean termite species, the flight often happens after warm, humid days, especially after rain. This is not random. A termite's body can lose moisture very easily once it leaves the sealed environment of the nest. Humid air helps them survive longer. Soft, wet soil also gives termite pairs a better chance of finding cracks, slipping underground, and beginning a new shelter. In other words, rain does not call termites out in a simple way, but it creates a brief window of survival where the risk of drying out drops and the chance of starting a new colony increases. That is why they usually do not fly out one by one. They swarm. When hundreds, or even thousands, of winged individuals leave the nest during the same period, the scene may look chaotic, but biologically, it is a strategy. Flying at the same time increases the chance that males and females will find each other. It also makes it harder for predators to catch every individual. A termite flying alone is almost an easy meal. But when the entire swarm emerges at once, at least some individuals have a chance to survive that first dangerous moment. The timing also varies by species. Some subterranean termites often fly during the day, after rain. Others, like Formosan subterranean termites, may fly at night and are attracted to light. That is why people sometimes see them around light bulbs, glass doors, porches, or windowsills. But this is also where the human world becomes a trap. Artificial light can pull them closer to houses. A bright window becomes a gathering point. Floors, bathrooms, basements, or wall cracks become the places where we accidentally discover them. And because they only have a short window of time to find a mate, find moisture, and find shelter, many individuals die before they ever succeed. So the next time you see winged termites appearing all at once, it is not just a random burst of flying insects. It is the moment the colony concentrates its chance of reproduction into a very short weather window. But the flight is only the beginning. Something even stranger happens right after they touch the ground. When the wings that help them leave the nest begin to become something they must leave behind. The wings left behind. A winged termite's flight usually does not last long. For many individuals, it is only a short journey away from the old nest, with one goal, to find a chance to meet a mate. But the most important moment does not happen in the air. It begins when they land on the ground, on a wall, on the floor, or near some damp crack. At that point, the wings that help them escape the nest become a burden. Winged termites do not need to keep their wings forever. After landing, many individuals shed them. The thin wings you see scattered across a windowsill or floor are what remains of that flight stage. They are like traces of a completed mission. The wings were used to leave the nest, but what comes next has to happen on foot, through touch, and through chemical signals. After shedding their wings, the reproductive termites begin looking for a mate. In some termite species, the male and female may move as a small pair. One leads, and the other follows closely behind. To the naked eye, they may look like two insects simply crawling next to each other. But in reality, they are coordinating through pheromones and physical contact. The one behind may touch the leader's body with its antennae or mouth parts to avoid getting separated. This is a fascinating detail. After leaving a crowded society, a winged termite does not start a new colony alone. It needs to form a pair. And that pair has to find a place that is sealed, humid, and safe enough to begin again. A crack in damp wood, a small space in the soil, a spot with little light and little wind where their tiny bodies will not dry out too quickly. But most of them will fail. Many are eaten by spiders, ants, birds, or lizards. Many die from drying out. Many shed their wings but never find a mate. Some fly into houses, are drawn toward windows by light, and die on the floor because they cannot find the right moisture. So a pile of shed wings inside a house does not mean every one of those termites successfully started a colony. Many may have failed right after their very first flight. But those abandoned wings reveal something more important. Winged termites are not a random accident. They are the result of an entire process. From signals inside the colony, to changes in the body, to the timing of the flight itself. And for one brief moment, a world normally hidden inside soil and wood reveals how it works. Interesting, isn't it? We often think of winged termites as just a few tiny insects that accidentally fly around a window. But behind those thin wings is an entire system of signals that we almost never get to see. It is surprising that such a small creature, living in soil and wood, can operate through a mechanism this complex. What do you think about them? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can read them. And don't forget to subscribe, so we can keep exploring more fascinating stories from the mysterious world of insects.